Well, am I audible? There's an echo on my side. Can you hear me? Can I see with a show of messages that yes, I'm audible? Thank you, warriors. Thank you, warriors. Good afternoon to everyone. Wow, what a session that we've been having for the past 2 days. Wow, it's amazing. As other warriors before me have already said, I'm also still trying to integrate the energy. The energy is far too much. There is so much spirit presence in our midst. I was even talking to my beloved warrior Joy earlier, and I was saying, you know what, throughout the transmission, I think I'm going to rock my movement. And that movement, when you see me going back and forth, don't be alarmed, because then the spirit is moving through me. Well, good afternoon. There was a question which was asked earlier. Where are we? Where are you? Where are we in our healing? I will link that question to, do we know why we're here? Can anybody tell me why we're here? Why are we here in this plane on earth? There is a specific reason why we're here, right? Has everyone ever tried to just test that question? Why am I here? What am I doing here? Within our group, of course, except those who are already in the healing journey. Because the reason why we're here, the reason why we're also healing, is particularly because we want to move into that space of understanding why we're here. Well, will I be correct to say to you, we are here to make peace with God, right? The eternal God, whoever that will show up to you as. We are here to know ourselves as the God that we are. You know, Apostle John, chapter 4, verse 16, the 1st John, says God is love, right? The highest expression of love begins in our hearts, right? Begins with our hearts, and its sound and the rhythm of love in our hearts, it's played differently, right? As we are all unique. It brings me to what I'm going to discuss with you today, the language of the human heart and its intimacies. Well, my name is Nomvula Tlatsi. This afternoon, I bring to you the ancient voice. I am an alchemist. I have been initiated for many years now, but the biggest initiation for me came when I went through the Warrior Mystery School. And that made me to literally be here today. The reason why I'm here today is particularly because of that initiation. I'm moving towards now being known, coming out, dropping the blanket of invisibility, because I've been wearing that for years, right? Now, speaking about the heart speaks without words. The heart is the living flame of love. So with the living flame of love, there are no words. There is this universal sound, you know, that will envelope you, that will engulf you. Having said that, I would want you to connect now and feel in your heart now. You know, that song that we were playing earlier does a little bit of that. There's a reason for that. Because throughout this transmission, I would want you to go back, to drop into your heart, to go inward, just to feel your heartbeat. The heartbeat that was in your mother's womb. Earlier speaker spoke about the placenta and the tree of life. It's exactly that. The heartbeat that was in their mother's womb before you. The heartbeat of our luminous ancestors. Do we know that their blood is moving through us? Through that same heartbeat, by feeling and dropping into our heartbeat now as we breathe in and we drop into that love space, right? That space, that pause moment. We remind ourselves of what is really sustaining us as humanity, is that heartbeat. Wow. With the language of the healing heart, do we know that the hierarchy of light, our Christed ancestral helping spirits, they work with alignment with the universal rhythm of love, right? We are just not selected as healers, as genetic pathcutters. There is a rhythm to everything. The resonance of this, you will feel it in your heart. Even ancestors, when they do come to us to gift us of the gifts that we have, the medicine that we are, the healing women that we are, the dream weavers that we are, they also look into the heart. They would also want to prefer the heart that has purity, the heart that is open. This afternoon, I am going to start with the radiance of the sacred heart. You know, the energy that exists in the sacred heart. Other healers will call it the high heart, right? That space between your heart and your throat chakra, because that's where it resides. The heart language is centered around ancient wisdom and truth. There are aspects of this work that are very important to our mental knowledge and understanding this ancient truth, this ancient wisdom. The heart chakra is the energy center of the seal of all of our time. It takes everything. Why this is so? It's because the heart is the channel to your soul. It represents that which you were before, which you are in the moment of now, that which you will become in the future. All that information is what the heart is able to connect you to. The heart is able to connect you to the Akashic records. The Elia warrior spoke, Nomasondo spoke about the Akashic records. It's able to take you there. The authentic self, the blueprint that governs human existence. And if we allow ourselves to study this ancient truth, to study ourselves, to study the heart, to learn and understand the language of our heart, to tap into it, it will definitely accelerate our spiritual practices and the journey to the unknown terrain of vulnerability, the unknown terrain of your multidimensional self, the unknown terrain of the seal of our time, you know. We'll have a very beautiful, I would say to a given degree, cheat code to access the divine wisdom and the spiritual expansiveness as we tap into this power, this wisdom of our hearts. Let's consider that the heart is part of the 7 chakra system, the unseen magical energy points that exist in our bodies, right? The chakra system is part of the unspoken concepts and truths within the human collective currently in the world. We are kept in the matrix. Who knows the matrix? Right? It's a beautiful movie, right? That's a beautiful movie. I love it too. The heart is the chakra point number 4. This part of our chakra is full of love. It is the force of love that holds all the planetary system in the orbit which maintains it. What do I mean by saying that? Like your body, right? It's like a planetary system. The entire body is the universe. Let's put it like that, not the planetary system. And the planetary system would then become your chakras, right? We've got an odd number with the chakras. Like we've got the 3 upper chakras and the 3 lower chakras, and we've got the heart at the center. Right? So the heart maintains the orbit of the entire planet as it evolves, it revolves around you. The heart maintains, it keeps it on check. So you see, I say it is part of that truth that is not given unto us. What are the planets? The planets or the chakras are connected to different dimensions. All of that information, if we drop into our hearts through the modalities of healings that we'll be going into, right? We drop through the heart chakra. Then this information is brought online to us. Because we are the universe. We are the universe. And then the heart keeps everything in perfect orbit. It keeps the 3 lower chakras and the upper ones in perfect orbit. Let's just think about the interconnection, like the interconnection of everything, which links us to Ubuntu. Because the heart, if we think about it, we know the concept of Ubuntu, the acts of compassion. This is an automated unconditional love, Ubuntu. So the heart is like automated unconditional love, but obviously we ought to heal it. We ought to take care of it. We ought to practice learning the language. See, the heart also, or our universe, which is the body, corresponds with the universe that we are in. Because right now we are in the 3rd dimension, right? Obviously, there are other dimensions. I spoke about the dimensions of the chakras, which are connected to, let's say, the 3 upper ones connected to other dimensions and the 3 lower ones connected to other dimensions. So one of the truths of the universe that we are aware of is, you know, as above, so below. You know, this is because so many things are connected together. They make that interdependence. They are glued together, including even the challenges that we are facing today. Each and every challenge that we face today, believe me when I say to you, some of the challenges exist in other dimensions and other planets. That's the story for another day. So what does that mean? It means we can feel each other's pain and joy. So does the universe. We feel, they feel, the planets within us through the heart. Whenever one of the root is not in alignment, we feel the pain. Whenever nothing, we feel the pain, the emotions of pain. We all feel the pain. So everything is connected together. But, you know, entering through our heart's energy, our heart allows us to tap into the energy of the collective, ancient tradition, the culture, the divine wisdom, the power that represents the oneness. Because it unifies everything. It's a unified whole. This is very powerful. With the unified whole, there is an alchemy that occurs because of this power of oneness, the togetherness. Hence the concept of Ubuntu, because we hold each other's hands. So let's remember that the human body, as the universe that it is, also is composed of all of the elements that I spoke about. Right? On a very practical level, for example, the truth of the unknown. We are that. We are the unknown to be explored, the unknown to be discovered. There's no deeper wisdom than that. A human being is an unknown species, even to herself, even to her own detriment sometimes. Because once we connect with that power of knowledge, with that understanding through the heart, that love, that compassion that exists in them, then our healing journeys as much as they are challenging, but at least it's bearable. Right, moving into now the second item that I'm going to speak about, which is the heart is the sacred force of eternal light in the world of matrix, in the illusional world, for example. Well, to unleash the force of the divine universe, which is us human beings, we need to acknowledge that it's different from mental perspective, mental consumption. We need to be one with the heart and be anchored within the heart. So how does that look like? We have to first understand how the heart functions in order to connect with it, to be one with it. Because we are going to be one with the heart and work with it. The heart is the harmonizer between the lower chakras and the upper chakras, balances the energies for all other chakras once it's orbiting in its optimal force. Once we have worked with it, we have sat with it, once we have healed it, then the heart becomes that. For instance, the Trinity Chakras, which I've already spoken about, the throat, the third eye, and the crown chakra, personifies energies that are, and concepts that are out of the world's time. They are grounded in higher dimension, in spirit. Whereas the lower chakras, the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus, this one personifies physicality, you know, the things that we see now, the things that we feel now. And the lower chakras, at times, the energies there are a bit denser and denser, but they are very important for our own existence, because obviously there is that balance once they are all working together. But the work in the lower chakras gives energy to and digest information flowing from the higher chakras. The energy of the chakras that we tap into in the spirit realm, it's out of time. But through the heart, as we get the information through the heart from our intuition, through the heart, then we are able to anchor in, we are able to understand that which the spirit is trying to communicate with us. But however, if we've got unhealed chakras, including lower chakras, you'll notice that there will be distorted energies that show up, such as fear, pain, our own shadows, the wounds of our mothers, fathers wounding, you know, all of those wounds. This also can also include childhood stuff in the current life cycle that we are in, which is blocked somewhere in our subconsciousness. So the spirit and the physical dimension, meaning all of them working together, are synthesized by the work of the heart, of the unified whole, because it unites things to work together. So you see, the heart is very, very essential, very essential. The moment we activate and trigger our heart chakra, all unprocessed wounds, we have to go through the process of healing and detoxification, so that we can be in our hearts. So that will take some sort of practice. But when we speak about detoxification, for example, we're not speaking about the green juices, the healthy food, the healthy stuff, though it's very important and it's necessary during that process. But we need to go inwards. We need to spend time. We need to challenge ourselves to understand the language that is spoken within our heart. In cultivating the unknown strength of the heart, why is the heart chakra such a powerful tool? Why is it such a powerful tool? You know, the human body is designed and wired to correspond with the divine order of things. And the heart certainly does connect us with the Holy Spirit, with Christ consciousness, because the heart is love, right? The Holy Spirit is love. Because it's the harmonizer of everything. It contains the prime order for the locality of truth. And it's in the man's heart. For by the heart of a man knows the truth, right? We know that it's even in the scriptures. The emotional center, which is governed by the lower chakras, is very instinctive. It has a push and a pull, stimulus. It does not make sense of what the mind is saying. So does the mind not make sense of what the emotions are saying to us. Sometimes we tend to say, for an example, if I dropped a bad relationship, if I would cite an example. Later on in the years, one can look back and say, how did I get myself involved today? Those kind of questions. You kind of like, how did I snap there? Was it necessary? Do you see how emotions and as well as the mind, the mental perspective sometimes don't work together? There's sometimes that contradiction between the two. However, through the heart, the alchemy takes place there. The heart is the magical transformer, believe you me. It makes them to bond together. So when we enter our chakra systems through the energy of the heart, then we can get the information we need. That is for us now in the present moment. And it's a very valuable and worthy information for our spiritual growth. It's the heart energy is the energy we have, is the consciousness we have to envelope ourselves in. It's very important because it gives us timely information. It gives us correct information and accurate information psychically and at the correct resonance that we need at the time of our healing. This is very important. If our heart is not activated, however, we may not even access that type of information, that accurate information all the time. That's why it's important to start healing the heart, to start listening to the heart. Once that information is brought to our awareness, we have to allow ourselves to go into deep insight, dive deep inside, and face whatever emotions that we are confronted with. We have to indulge ourselves. In that process, where the heart starts speaking certain language, we don't have to become an adult and say, I'm no longer sitting with this type of energy. No, I'm not associated with that, because you'll be fooling yourself. That's not how it works. We don't short circuit the process. Because what the heart does, the heart asks us to become an innocent child in pain. He can be happy in pain. There is a possibility like that. The heart does that to us. We have to become genuinely needed adult person when we are in the inner child, in her innocence, when exploring the terrain of our hearts. We need to reside with our own brokenness, for example. We need to cry and purge, because tears are medicine as well. We need to face all those shattered pieces of ourselves. Whatever emotions comes to you, for example, face them. Let's face the emotion and become the natural, become the disciplinarian that is needed from your adult self, but through dropping into the wisdom of your heart. Now that we kind of like make sense of what the heart does in terms of the function as a balancer, the harmonizer of all other planetary systems within ourselves, let's get to the area where we speak about educating an unbuilt heart. Because the heart acts as the natural transformer and transporter of energy. It does get quite a buildup of energetic debris when we do not sit with it and contemplate and develop it. the heart can be hardened. It can grow a shell to protect itself. And it will be very challenging to connect with it once this has happened. For instance, when we start to connect with our hearts and sit with it, a lot of people would get scared, including myself, because it used to even happen to me. Since I started with the journey, as an example, one of the journeys that I did recently, we called to wake up during odd hours to do certain things. One of these days I woke up and the name Poltergeist came to mind. Damn, I was scared. I was so scared because look, I am here trying to heal. And here is this name coming to mind. It comes through the heart, Poltergeist. And I'm wondering, what is Poltergeist? It's a dark shadow, if I may explain it. It's a dark shadow. It's a ghostly energy. It's a shadow that does not exist in our realm now. It does exist in our realm, but it's coming from another dimension, right? So this was playing until I sat with my heart. My heart started telling me, what is my medicine? I got to understand, as a medicine woman, this kind of concepts, you are going to come across them. I needed now to educate an unhealed heart, because the kind of messages that will come once you sit with it, some of them are very scary. Some of them are very heavy. But it takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, and moving through the shadows to move into and connect with our hearts. But however, when the moment where we start to connect with the hearts, we push through those emotions. We push through pain. We push through anger. We push through fear, because now we connect through this, through love, through compassion, through Christ consciousness. There is power there. There is alchemy. There is transformation that occurs, because your body is very magical. More than ever, the belief systems that we have developed through many programmings that we've been in. When I say the belief system, like the pain, the anger, some of them, they are part of our own created illusion. Because why? Given most of the time when that happens, we are disconnected from our heart essence. And this illusion is personified in the fourth dimension, our heart, the astral realm. Because this is the realm that corresponds to the density of the heart. So the energy that is coming there, it's like a mirror. It's mirroring information that if there needs to be a healing, we need to deal with it. If it's coming from the soul, if it's light, how do we work with it? So the heart does receive, especially if you go undergoing a healing. An uneducated heart will basically give those types of messages. But now, with the information and the knowledge that I need to drop within myself, then you are empowered, because then intuitively you'll be guided by the spirit while you move through the energy. What is Azazel doing in you? For an example, who is this Azazel? Who are you for Azazel? When I say Azazel, I speak about a demon. I'm sorry, warriors. It's because the reason why I always would go back to this darkness is because I hold the medicine of a dark arts. I'm a demon slayer. It's part of the work that I do. So I'm speaking about my own medicine, because I needed to literally connect so deeply with my heart to understand, even to try and make sense sometimes. Why am I dealing with this? But because it gives that information back to me. it reflects and projects that information, then I'm always guided. Now, how to activate a sacred heart? Beautiful souls are they that are universal and are ready to open and receive. Those are beautiful souls. Because then they are ready to learn the language of their infinite power. They are ready to stand up in that power, to move through spirit, to move through shadows, wounds, and challenges that we are facing. This is how we start by activating our heart. But because we don't do this, if I may cite an example, most of the time, many people will not have a reference point, how the heart feels, like, what is this energy? How do I sit with it? So I will start by saying, just for an example, if an exercise would be necessary, breathe into it. Allow information that comes. Don't serve it. Don't filter the information. Don't try and rationalize it. Don't think about it. Just put everything down as it comes. Just, close the noise of your mind and just breathe into your heart and listen. And allow everything that is coming up, whatever information that is coming up for you, just put it down. Don't think about it. Don't try to be logical about it. You'll see what comes out. That's very powerful. This is how we start activating our hearts. We just need to be there, to drop in there. And you know what is nice about this? With me even saying this, with all the warriors that have been saying the things, Akashic records, Akona yesterday about our mind, how to heal the mind. This is the information that is already inside of you. We're not saying something that your soul don't know. You might not remember this, but by even speaking this type of language, we literally not even talking to your physical self, but we are tapping into that, the soul. We are tapping into your heart. We are tapping into the spirit, right? But the heart, because it's love, it's thoroughly activated by that. Because love is energy, it's sensation. It's an intimate feeling. And that feeling triggers the heart. I'll share when I go down the kind of questions that you can start asking. But you just need to feel some more. Feel the spectrum of love that you are. But remember, as we journey through, one important thing is not to have expectation. Human beings are capable of just boxing their minds, themselves, as an example, by trying to predict psychically abilities that we have at times. But obviously, if you're in the healing journey, it's a different ballgame whatsoever. But if you start with this, because you know who you are, right? Just don't box what is coming through. Don't try and rationalize it, as I said before. Don't have expectations. Don't. I myself used to have so many expectations. I myself used to have so expectations. My gifts would look like this. I would be this. I would be a prophet. I would be... No, my dear. The truth that you are, that exists within you, that is held within your soul, that you have to come and balance by coming here on earth. It might actually say something a bit different from the expectations. Expectations are control-based, actually. That's when ego kicks in. So if we can try and tame ego, then we've got it, right? So how do we learn to read the messages from the heart? How do we identify that we are in our hearts, not in our minds, right? The language of the heart looks like this. It's very concise. It's very fast, like lightning. Whenever the heart speaks, it drops a message. Boom. The heart does not mess around. tells you like it's supposed to be said, whether painful, whether scary, whether collapsing you, the heart says it because that's your truth. Then with that type of information, as it comes in, you can start now engaging your intuition, asking questions, asking to be guided by the spirit, asking your luminous ancestral helping spirits to anchor you, asking the medicine that you need. Then a lot will start making sense from there. The heart has the ability to send messages that are far much more scary and very risky. It can scare the crap out of us. It can scare the crap out of you. Because why? The eyes of your soul, which is your power, which is who you are, rests in the heart. The heart operates differently from many other organs. You know, other beings or other masters that I've worked with always say the heart has the brain of its own. It's very talented. Because why? It contains your truth self, proper, accurate, honest perspective of who you are. That's why it doesn't mess around. You know, for an example, it will ask you to get back on track. It will ask you to quit your job. You know, those are kind of risky messages, right? The heart has a certain feeling of openness and expansiveness. This is point number 3. The heart will always make you feel like you are growing, you are becoming more of your potential self. There is that good feel, especially if you work with it. The ego can be very constraining and limiting. Because the unfortunate thing about the ego is when it puts an idea in your mind, fame, money, we tend to get excited. But the heart can say, no, go and palaza, go and page, you know, those kind of things. So it says something else different from what we normally do, you know. And the other worst thing that I've also experienced about the ego will make you obsessed with the outcome. The heart doesn't. It drops it, it leaves. It allows you now to integrate, to heal, and it will drop something else later and it leaves. That's how the heart works. You don't become obsessed because it's your truth, it's who you are. The last item, the heart is a portal it's a portal of creativity and innovation. If you sit in your heart, calm the busyness and the noise of your mind, you have time with it, you listen to it, you learn it, you'll have inspiration pouring into you, flowing all the way from you. You become naturally creative. You think outside the box, because thinking outside the box, right, it's creativity. That's the benefits of the unknown. The unknown is creativity. Once you tap into that world, you are bringing something that is not known to me. So some of it may scare you, as I said, but just work in coherence with what is coming in. The energy thereof is very beautiful. It's expansive, it's creative. The heart, as I said, lives in the world of the unknown. And creativity and innovation is pretty constant there. It can feel unusual and challenging to be in that space because it's a very raw space and place. It's a place of creation and a place where we are meant to be if we keep the flow from our hearts. So we ought just to be patient with that process. Because while we are held, we are supported. In activating the heart, as I've said earlier, that there are some other questions that or guiding messages or statements that I will share with you that could lead you to start opening up, start getting the feeling, start connecting with your heart essence. For an example, when you start doing the work, if this work is not familiar to you, you can start by saying, how can I open my heart freely and share my love with others? How can I empower my heart so I may fulfill my reason for being here and soothe others in pain and heal others? How can I heal my heart of the pain of the past and expand the ability to love more, to be my organic self more? How can I give others and still find time to nurture myself, right? Because it's very important to hold that clean space for yourself also. But when you hold this space, you also have to allow through your heart that energy of cleanness to be who you are, so that your space is even safer for others to enter because of the love that you give. How can you enter the fence of your heart, the inner fires of your love? How can I become a living transformer of love? Those are some of the questions that you can ask yourself as you go through the process. Okay, I'm almost done, but before I finish, I would love to go through your questions and answer them, or I would want to deliver a certain activation that I believe it will become sort of a medicine to allow us to open up to who we are, to open up to our heart essence, to open up to our love. I see there are questions here. Okay, there's somebody, or Akona, may we please have questions on the chat, please, Gogo? Okay, I see. So humans, I was just going on and on and on. I literally disconnected from all the questions, but I'm gonna go through them. You know, when you deal with the energy of the heart, you literally become, yeah. Right, let me see the questions. Okay. Okay, the first heart is from Dumelo Mureri. Our hearts possibly closed, though, Gogo, because of all the pain of the world. Yes. You know, to me, if we are living in the world of matrix, the world of matrix is an illusion, right? Which blocks us from going into our hearts, dealing with our love. There is an extra person here now with me. I'm sorry about that, because it's a small dog that I have, you know. So once we blocked, we closed, because of a lot of programming that has happened. Like pain is programming, anger is programming. But in order to start speaking that language, we have to allow ourselves to go through healing and understand when we say pain is programming, anger is programming, because it is. It does not resonate. It does not bear any resonance with your body. None of it exists in your truth. You are not pain. You are not anger. But these are some of the things that we will have to let go. We'll have to let go and just allow our heart to harmonize whatever pain that we are dealing with, that is coming from even the lower chakras and coming up, because the heart will enable us to go to that space. Okay, I just had a picture of the heart as the central sun when you spoke about it orbiting. Wow, warrior, that's beautiful. Dumino Moreri. Vanessa, beautiful, the language of the heart. Thank you, warrior. Yeah, the heart is the magical transformer, indeed. Warrior Joy was reminding me of my time. Okay, once we begin to think and trying to understand the feeling, we automatically move us out of our heart space and simple feeling. Warrior Ayana, I see here, it's not a question, right? It was just a statement, yeah. Yes, inspiration does pour through you. So what kind of, okay, what kind of questions can one start asking? I hope I've answered you, Warrior Joy, our Gogo. I hope I've answered you there. Our Godela, even though I know you don't love that. Okay, there is another question. Gogo, what do we mean by the heart being the harmonizer of all the chakras? Okay, like I've explained before, then it will want me to go back to that. Can I explain it further, or would you want me to explain it? However, the heart, because of the fact that it, you know, it's like an electromagnetic point within our body that has love, right? Because the heart operates in love. The heart is love. God is love. So when we harmonize with our chakras from the point of love, then we are connecting with our heart. This is how it works. Even though in the beginning it may seem a bit challenging, a bit like you don't understand, it's okay. Don't beat yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. Just go on. Okay, just go on with the feeling. In time, it will make sense. Okay, how do I activate the heart and listen to the messages? Okay, I've already answered that. Okay. Okay, how do I activate the heart and listen to the messages? How you activate your heart and listen to the messages? Because that question came more than, I think, 2 times. How do you activate? You just spend, as I've already spoken about that exercise, but I guess also, because I'm going to go through this, a bit of an activation for us for just 5 minutes, then we can be able to probably from here move into that space, because those questions that I spoke about earlier, for an example, how can I open my heart freely and share my love with others? These are the kind of questions that you can ask yourself as you drop within yourself, because then you are going to get answers. The spirit realm is alive, is around you. It will definitely give you answers. How can I empower my heart? You are going to get answers. The reason why this kind of question are important for us as individuals is because we are uniquely different. Our DNAs are different. We hold different gifts. We hold different medicine. So with those kind of questions, answers will be different for each individual. It's not going to be the same thing for all of us. So I hope I've answered you, warriors. Can we just, for 5 minutes, because I see my time is almost done, go into this activation. Now, this will be sort of an exercise that you can do for yourself in your own time, in your own space. I want you to close your eyes, right? And take your right hand on your heart and your left hand on your sacral chakra. Your sacral chakra is just there on your womb. Now, let's take 3 cleansing breaths, like and the other one, and out. The last breath, and out. Keep your eyes closed. Now, with our eyes closed, we are going to tap into the world without words, the world of rhythm, the rhythm and the sound of our heart, our heartbeat. Feel to it, feel into the sound. Infuse our heart and our being with the love that we feel in there. Infuse ourselves with a saying that says, I am complete, I am enough, I am adequate. This is the world that permeates all sense of abundance. Is the world of benevolence and grace. As we stand in that power and that understanding within our own rhythms, within our own hearts, as we breathe in, taking it all in, we also breathe in the rhythm of our own ancestors, because they are carrying us through our own different healings. That rhythm runs through you, is the alchemy in you. May the breath of all creation and its beauty in the days to come and yet to come help us remember our soul sound, the rhythm of our hearts, as we walk softly on God's grace. May we remember why we are here on earth. May we remember that our life is sacred. Now, this part, I would want us to say it together. But where I mention my name, you mention your own name. Great soul within Nomvula, I speak to you now. I connect to you now through my heart. Come forth now. Take command of my mind and body, and so be it. And breathe in one more time, and out. And then we can open our eyes. That was my transmission for today. I thank you. Sorry about the noise of these little ones. I've got little ones in my place now. They started trying to take over my transmission.